And today's sessions is titled Built to Last, New Products and Updates with Brightwheel CEO. And in this live session, our CEO, Dave Vasen, will walk through recent updates across Brightwheel, share what the team is focused on next, and give us a bit of an insight into how product decisions are made. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Great to be here. Great to get a chance to spend time with everyone. Thanks for spending time with us and taking time out of your, we know, very busy days. My job today really is to give you a sense of what Brightwheel is, what makes it unique, and really also how we think about and prioritize the investments that we make to support all of you. We can go to the next slide. I just want to start off with just an overview of some of the surface area and categories that Brightwheel covers. And it is really, really extensive, as you can see. The wild thing whenever I see this slide is that it actually is not all encompassing. There are actually things that aren't on here that we do and do really well. But it gives you a sense of how we came into early education and the value that we try to provide, which is really acknowledging the multitude of things that you all are doing day to day, moment to moment, and trying to step in and make it easier, make it more accessible, make it faster, frankly, save time, save money, and bring it all together in one place that really makes the day go easier, makes the week go easier, and provides a ton of very real value. And one of the key things about Brightwheel over time, which I hope will come through in the conversation today, is that more of these dots have popped up, over time. We've continued to really challenge ourselves to every week, frankly, deliver more value to you all. In addition to that, I'd be remiss not to mention at least that when you see on the right side, it is not just features. Brightwheel is more than just that. We have the largest customer support and success team in the industry that offers really hands-on support for you all. And we really, as I'll talk about more today, back it up day to day with all the investments that we make and with our team who is really ready to support you in every way. So with that, I'll go to the next slide and talk about a little bit about what makes Brightwheel unique. It certainly starts with features, and I know that we're going to talk about features today. Brightwheel has the most features and options of any early education platform across the globe. And as you'll hear about, we're always pushing ourselves and doing more and more. We also know it is about much more than that. So Brightwheel is incredibly easy to use. We really take a lot of care and pride in that. You literally can just put it in a staff member's hand and teacher's hand, and it makes sense because we built it around you. We want it shouldn't be something that you need to spend time training on or learning. It should be intuitive and fast and easy to use for everybody involved. As I mentioned, we have a robust customer service team, so we offer personalized onboarding to make sure that we're not just gonna, sell you the product and walk away. We're gonna be there side by side to make sure that you get value out of it, that you understand it. We've made it really, really easy to get up and running, get onboarding. It's frankly very automated. It's super simple. You can give us anything from a piece of paper to a spreadsheet to literally take a photo of your enrollment list and we will do the rest. So we've taken a lot of care to make it easy, but we also have people alongside you to help. And then day to day, we have the largest, biggest, most robust support team in the industry. Our response time is literally less than 30 seconds. If you or a staff member has a question, if a family member has a question during the day, they don't have to come to you with that question. If it's about Brightwheel, you can literally say, hey, just go in the app and Brightwheel will help you. So we are there with just a really dedicated, passionate team to support you, your staff, and your families. We have really the best technology, which I'll talk a little bit more about. We make a measurable impact on your day. Like we can literally measure the amount of time that we save for you, the amount of money that we save for you. And really, this last point that I hope comes through today is like, we are building everything that we do for you and with you. And it's a big part of who we are and a big part of our process. So, Brightwheel was the first all-in-one solution. We were the first in this space to really make a splash and do all of those things that were on the prior slide. There have been a lot of folks who have kind of followed suit, but we really think Brightwheel continues to stand on its own. And really, it's because of, frankly, how much this team cares about supporting you and the work that you do day to day. So with that, we can head to the next slide and talk through a little bit about just how do we think about what we build. We got a lot of questions about what do you build and why, and how do you determine kind of what next thing to put up on the map in terms of where we solve problems. But I want to start with, and I'll get into this more about the why here. I want to start with asking you a question. So we'll go to the next slide here. If you could go into the chat, we would love to just get a chance to read and engage a little bit and just think about if we could solve anything for you, anything. And I'm not saying like it doesn't have to be an online thing, like admissions or billing or those kind of things, literally anything. If you could think about one headache, one big challenge, something that takes up time that you wish you didn't, something that if you could just get it off your plate, would love to like just get a visual. If you can go into the chat now and just say, if Brightwheel could solve anything for you anywhere in your day to day, what would that be? And I'll wait for just a couple of the questions to come in, or a couple of the answers to come through before we move on. Okay, I see payroll, timesheets. What else? What is like just the most nagging, annoying, difficult thing in your day? Wait lists. What else? I'll wait for one more to come through. Would love to hear from folks. It's just like the biggest thorn in your side, the thing that, if you can hit it off and take it off your plate. I think it's how schedule from the schedule. Yep. Okay. So please keep them coming. I'll keep them through it. And we are watching this, but this question, frankly, is a very big part of, I'm seeing more coming through, is a big part of our process when we talk about how we build product and frankly, why we build product. So let's go to the next slide. And I'll be brief here, and please keep in the chat. Like, we would love to keep the answers coming of your biggest challenges. But we get a lot of questions about how do you think about what you build and why? And these are the major things. So it starts really with our vision of Brightwheel wants to be the single place where we can solve all of your problems day to day. There was no one out there doing this when we started 10 years ago. Literally, there was no other comprehensive solution. And so we did have to have a vision of what was possible. We had to believe that like early education deserved truly cutting edge technology that was also easy to use and also fully integrated, where you weren't kind of band-aiding together different systems. So it does start from that vision, which Brightwheel was really the first to have. Then it starts with a lot of research. So just like this, conversations, observations, being in the classroom, in the office, listening to you all, understanding. We take a ton of feedback into our process through all variety of channels. We look at all of our support inquiries and we look at how folks are actually using the product. And we put that through and then that's what helps us determine where to go and what to build and what to do next. It's worth noting, if we go to the next slide, that we do serve really everybody in this space. So there's, if you think about all across the US and Canada, every type of school, every type of provider, every size range, every pedagogy, every demographic. And so if you click, at times we get feedback of why don't you have this specific thing, or can you change this specific thing? I think we're the best at addressing that, and you'll see that in our reviews that we work really, really hard. It's worth noting that we are trying to solve all of your problems all the time, and we take that really, really seriously. But we are unique that we're 100% focused on early childhood. We're not building tools for public schools or K-12 schools or other big systems. We're really focused on early childhood and all the unique needs that you all have in running a school and running a business and managing all the licensing and compliance and the day-to-day of what it takes to run a childcare or a preschool. So with that, we'll keep moving here. And the one thing I want to talk about too is just the quality of the tech. And I won't belabor this, but I think Brightwheel does stand really unique in that, yes, we have the most features, but Brightwheel is the highest and most performant. We don't go down. We're not down on the weekend. We don't disappear. It's fast. It's bank grade security that you can trust. We're going to be, managing all your communications and processing all your payments. This is very, very, very sophisticated software that, again, is also easy to use. But, end of the day, if you're going to be putting everything into the system, it has to be something you can trust. And we've been doing it for 10 years now. We have the strongest track record in the best technology in the industry. Okay, we can keep moving here. And now we get to the fun stuff. So this is looking at really just our track record of innovation, of launching, of building for you. And how we want to bring this to life was really show you over the course of back to school, this past back to school in 2025. These were the key areas that we focused on and built with a very long list. And what we did was at the beginning of that season, we put this list out, and then over the course of back to school, check these off and delivered them. And I want to just highlight a couple of them that the team was able to deliver on for you. By the way, I do see some of the questions coming through. We'll have plenty of time, I think, for Q&A. So we'll make sure to get to some of those questions. So just to highlight a couple of these things, we're not going to go through all these bullet points. As you can see, it's a lot. This is what Brightwheel delivered just over the course of 3 months. So if we go to the next one, here, we're going to cover first under financial management, a couple of key highlights. So we can go to the next slide. So here, what you're seeing is tuition agreements. And so this is a big new area that we heard as a pain point from folks, which was really around like, how do I really set myself up for success with my families? And we want to create a place where families are agreeing to, an agreement that you put in place that we're going to help you with, but it's really clear, really documented confirmation of commitment that they're signing up for a payment plan. And so we made that really, really simple in our forms experience where you can go through, confirm what you're paying for, when you're going to be paying for it, add a payment method, enroll in auto pay, all in one simple flow, and really helped all of our schools make sure that they were going to get paid and paid on time. And so it's a really easy, quick setup for you, and actually like a formal commitment on behalf of families. This is something that they are committing to. It's legally contractual obligation that we make super simple to support you and your payment collection and really running your business. So that's one example of we'll keep moving here. I can talk fast and move fast, but I'm going to keep going just to make sure we get through everything. The next one is really unique to Brightwheel. So we are the only software provider in early childhood that offers this. And it was a recognition that we had helped a lot of folks transfer payments online. So a big part of the value prop for Brightwheel is you can establish really easy recurring bills and bill pay amongst your families. And all of that gets automatically transferred into your bank account same day or next day. Very, very fast, very easy to use, really easy to track. We still heard from folks who at times wanted to collect checks, whether that was for tuition or maybe one-off fees, and made this, frankly, just really, really nice and integrated. You right within the app can as you can see at the same as if you're using Bank of America or Chase, you can take a picture of a photo and funds will arrive next business day, which is pretty unheard of when it comes to checks. There's no limits on this in terms of how often you use it or how you use it. It's just super, super easy. So really proud to be able to offer more and more forms of payment within Brightwheel, and really giving folks just another method that they can trust, that they're going to take a picture of this and go through, and it's going to work just like a bank does and get right into your bank account. So those are some highlights on the financial management side. We can now move to the next category, which is admissions and forms. So this has been a big, big area of investment. I think this was one of the pain points that someone mentioned around wait lists. It's really, really an area of strength for Brightwheel. I would say overall, we recognize that whether it is upfront collecting kind of tuition and forms around admissions, or whether it's maybe throughout the year, whether if you need to submit a form, request a form, if you need to request a piece of documentation, or maybe it might be immunizations, whatever it might be, whether it's upfront in the admissions process or in the enrollment process or throughout the year, it's really, really easy to use and really robust. So we'll just a couple key highlights here. Again, there's a lot that we could talk about. But if we go to the next slide, you can see here that we make it super simple. So if you want to create a form, a fillable document, all of those things, it's really, really easy. I think a lot of folks are familiar with things like DocuSign. I would argue this is better and easier to use than DocuSign, and it's fully integrated within Brightwheel. So again, it's very robust. There's a lot that we offer in terms of what we added, and what's new is the ability to have these templates. So we have a curated set of like state-specific templates, so forms that are very specific to your state, covering things like uh, information requests or immunizations, or the kind of information that you may need to collect. If it's a very specific form that you don't want to recreate yourself, you can actually pull your state form. And instead of doing it from scratch, you can reuse that form literally within Brightwheel. We also added the ability to create really easy packets. So you can create, a welcome message, a due date, all the forms kind of in one place. And that was a new thing also this year, where making that packet process really simple to produce for yourselves, to send to families within Brightwheel, whether they're prospective families or current families, and then to track and understand ongoing, how's that going? Just making that process really, really simple. We'll go to the next slide now. And also just like made these a lot more powerful and a lot better. And this is again where I think we are better than DocuSign in a lot of ways. So you can see right here, you can now draw a signature directly within Brightwheel. You could before type, now you can literally draw it if you want. We added new field types, so if you want to do drop downs or check boxes, any way that you want to build a form, it's really, really responsive. And again, this might be during the admissions process. It might be if you need to collect some information over the course of the year, you can really easily do that. And then it directly ties into the student entry. So, when you enroll that student, or if you want to update information, there's an automatic tie to the student record. So you don't have to manually transfer it from our application into that. And we know folks who are using other systems for applications or other tools, or maybe even Google Forms, but then you got to manually move that over somewhere else. So that integration is really, really key to Brightwheel. Everything is integrated. When you want to send this off to a family, whether it's a prospective family or current family, it's all integrated. It's all easy. You don't have to go somewhere else to send it. You just choose who you want to send it to, and it goes to the right place, and then you can track it. It's all there, easy to use, super easy. Uh, okay, I'm going to keep us moving. So we also added the ability to collect fees. So you can see here within your actual form submissions, if you have an application fee, really easily embedded. That was a really good example of just a request that we heard. We built these really robust application forms that you could use in these packets, and folks didn't want to collect a fee separately. They wanted it right within the experience, so we were able to add that as a point of feedback from our customers. Okay, we'll keep going. And again, this is just a highlight of what we launched over kind of a 3 to 4 month period. We're now going to go into curriculum and assessments and go to the next slide. And here I would just start by saying, like, this is really something that's unique to Brightwheel. Brightwheel is the only major platform in ECE that, in addition to having a robust platform around all your daily needs, everything you saw around communication and licensing and payments and payroll, all of that, Brightwheel also has a research-backed curriculum that is both online and offline. And we think about it very much as a school in a box. Experience curriculum, it was something that was built over 30 years based on deep research. It is aligned with all 50 state early learning standards. It runs from age 0 to 6. It is something that we really take a lot of pride in terms of the quality. If you were to talk to experienced curriculum customer, it's something that really helps upgrade programs, but also just makes everything so easy and simple. And so what you see in like in the box that's there shown is we will ship to you every month for every classroom everything you need. So it could be worksheets, arts and crafts supplies, posters. Literally, you open up the box and you have your entire month there of all the activities and all the related resources that you would need. It saves hours and hours and hours of work of going off and collecting and doing all that. It also actually saves a lot of money because we buy in bulk. We put it into the box, we sort it for you for the exact number that you need. So it's saving a ton of time and a ton of money. And it's an area that is just like really, really integrated again. So if teachers are wanting to do something in the app during the day, if they want to share something with parents, it's all right there. So it's also an area of investment for us. And so we'll go to the next slide here and just talk about some of the improvements that we were able to make over the course of this year. And a big one is adding assessment. So we brought an experienced curriculum. We now have added a really, really powerful assessment. And we were able to validate it through research with Johns Hopkins University. So this is really robust where educators can easily observe skills through everyday activities and the actual activities that they're doing with experienced curriculum or with any other curriculum system. And so if you want to use this in conjunction with curriculum, you can with experienced curriculum. If you want to use it separately on your own, you can as well. And what you can really easily do, and we take a lot of pride in how easy it is like you can really easily conduct observations and then be able to see on a continuum of skills how children are doing. And if you go to the next slide here, it highlights one aspect of that, which is our continuum of skills. And so you can really drive targeted skills development and understand in a really robust way that's also easy. It doesn't take a lot of investment to be able to do this, but you're able to see across all of these domains how children are progressing. We also have been updating these. So, for example, we updated our language and literacy domain to align with the science of reading. And we know how critical and how important it is. And so all the way from baby through preschool, we have that full continuum. And really, it's now all of these 8 domains. It's 36 skills and 73 sub skills that you're able to see. But I want to emphasize here, it's like I think you look at that and say, oh my God, that's going to add time and be really challenging for teachers to navigate. We make it really, really easy. So doing an observation, you can do in less than 30 seconds in the app. You can do it across multiple students at once. So it's actually ultimately a time saver while actually helping with the quality of your program. It's aligned to all 50 states, Head Start and AC. Really, really strong. It's when we get the feedback on this, we're really excited. In addition to that, if you look at the next one, we're continually adding more and more powerful things to this. So here you see being able to over time see the development, in this case of Zoe, over those various skills and developmental areas. And you can track that and see that without any work. So once you make observations, we're immediately going to be able to help you see that and really get a sense of like how are children developing, and how can you personalize the instruction to them over the course of the day. If you are interested, you can go to the next slide here. We have both in the Brightwheel application as well as on our website. You can raise your hand. We'll give you a quick custom demo of curriculum or assessments or both, and give you a sense of how it can really fit your program. And again, like Brightwheel is very unique, and we're the only one that offers this fully integrated, research-backed, and something that ultimately saves a ton of time and ton of money and helps support teachers in the classroom. All right. We're going to keep going. And again, I know there's some questions flying, so if we can't get into them right away, I'll make sure to get to them in our Q&A, which is coming up. Next piece is family engagement. Let's go to the next one here. So this is an area that we know is really important in terms of just how, whether it's administrators, staff, teachers, how folks are engaging with parents day to day. We have a lot within the app around newsletters and messages and communication. One thing we heard about was this need around being able to really easily track signups. And folks were either using these Excel spreadsheets where, again, you're having to like cut and paste things or share a link in an email, or they were using other programs altogether in some cases that people were paying for to track signups. So we were the first again in the industry to say, why can't we do that within Brightwheel and make it super integrated, super easy to use? So now you can do signups for volunteering, for parent-teacher conferences, for school resource needs, for any sort of donations, and you don't have to do it anywhere else. So you really can easily create within Brightwheel and then literally just send it off automatically, whether it's to the whole school, to a classroom, or to specific parents that you want to be able to send it to. And you can manage and see and track signups as they come in. So just one more example of like just like not having to go off and do a DocuSign somewhere. It's all here within the sign up experience and making it really, really easy and integrated within Brightwheel. Okay, we can go to the next one. And let's see. Yeah, we're going to go into now kind of really staff and site management. And we'll go to the next slide. The first one is like we just recognize that we have a lot of folks using Brightwheel that have one location, and we have a lot of folks that have maybe more than one location. And so for the folks that are managing across sites, Brightwheel is extremely powerful. I'd argue the most powerful system for managing an individual location. We realize that there's some navigation and management that has to happen across sites. And so we have a multi-site management portal where you can log in yourself, or we can give others access, and you can see across all of your sites. We've had that now for a long time. We have robust reporting and the ability to navigate across those sites. And we recognize that there's more and more that we can do in terms of being able to really powerfully be able to manage multiple sites. So we've added now just recently the ability to transfer students across schools. You can now create forms and share them so that schools don't have to create their own forms. You can have one central repository. We're right now working on building reporting and building templates. So there's a lot here, a lot more coming, and it's a big area of investment for us if you're managing more than one location. We can go to the next page here. And then I think this is one of the last things that we're going to cover in terms of the roadmap over the past months, which is professional development, and another big area that's really exciting for us. We want to help support you, and we realize that a big way that we can do that is by helping your teachers and your staff with their annual training and their own professional development. And whether it's something that is required within your state, or whether it's something that you want to offer as an investment in your staff, which we see really helps drive retention, we now have a really robust professional development offering, again, all embedded within Brightwheel, and in addition to all the other things that Brightwheel is doing. And so let's go to the next slide here. And we'll talk just really quickly about like what makes professional development in Brightwheel unique. So part of it is learning in action. So each course that you want to be able to offer has tools and templates for staff. And it's not just a concept. It's not something that they're thinking about. They actually can put it into action through modules and put it into action that day in terms of what's going to happen in the classroom. There are office hours, so educators get on-demand access to our course instructors where they can ask questions and they can get advice. And then there is automatic tracking. So, of course, if you want to be able to offer this, you want to know if staff and teachers are actually using it. And so you can actually get reporting and be able to track staff training and progress and even compliance directly within the Brightwheel experience, where you manage everything else related to your staff. We'll go to the next slide. So you can see it's just a bit of a visual of what we offer. It is I guess, what I would say is like we really take a lot of care to understand your needs, who you are. And so these are not multi-hour long courses. These are 10 to 15-minute modules that anyone can fit into their hectic schedules. All of our courses are aligned with CDA, with NACE standards. Example topics are like child development, health, safety, and nutrition. There's a lot focused on our learning domains and literacy. So it's over 100 courses available. It's approved in nearly all states as an approved provider of courses that would go towards licensing compliance and professional development in your state. So again, this is an area where within the application on our website, if you're interested, you can get more information. And with that, we'll go to the next slide here and just talk about what's coming. So, and we often get a lot of questions around, okay, we just launched all of those things that you just saw, actually more, because we didn't go through everything. What else? What are we focusing on? What do we care about? What are we investing in coming up? So we can go to the next slide here. Just a couple of quick updates of things that just came out. One is search within the application. So we have a really robust search experience within the app, where you can be able to navigate it across the app and search for students, families, or specific parts of the application. We can go to the next slide. We added form due dates and expiration dates. So again, just continuing making updates and improvements to the things that are already out there, where we get feedback of the forms are great, but I want to be able to have an expiration on it. That is now available. We'll go to the next slide. We've added tuition insurance. So this is something where we really want to step up and be able to support you all and figure out, how can we help really the robustness and sustainability of your program. And so what tuition insurance does is it protects your revenue at no cost to you. Basically, you sign up, and when a student commits to your school, the family will pay a small copay on that insurance. And if that student has to drop out, if there's any sort of emergency or issue or moving or whatever it is, the families get they get a portion of their tuition back, and also you do as well. And so it's a way really protecting your revenue. We know how crazy it can be, month to month, running and doing everything that you do. So this is available. It's limited right now on a first come, first served basis, and spots frankly are filling up quickly. We will fill those spots and then make more available. And you can see there's an email address here if you do not see it available within the platform when you join Brightwheel, please email us and we will do our best to make it available to you. Okay, now we're going to quickly fly through. These are everything so far that we've covered is what's out there and what's available. We'll now quickly move through a couple that are up and coming. We can go forward here. Just a lot of investments within our billing, payments, and overall financial management portal. So we know how important it is to be able to run your business, and frankly, we want to, as much as possible, help you put it on autopilot. So there's a lot that we're adding here. The call outs here are being able to deposit checks in the same way that you can deposit now from families. You'll be able to deposit them from agencies for subsidies and other payments from agencies. We're adding, as I mentioned, billing templates across sites for multi-site management. And then, as we talked about, tuition insurance is just a really big differentiator that we think within the Brightwheel platform. We go to the next slide. Menus and CACFP. So we're really making our menus much more robust, making reusable menu templates. You can literally, if you're using any sort of a meal service, you can now upload a PDF, and you'll be able to easily ingest what that menu is and put that into Brightwheel, and also just improving our tracking and everything around CACFP. So we know how important CACFP is for programs that use it. So we're adding more reporting and guardrails around that to really make sure that you are getting reimbursed in the right way. We know how important all of these areas are for you, and so a lot of investments happening here. Okay, we'll move to the next section. Continue to invest in education. So, as I mentioned, whether it's the curriculum or the assessments, or frankly, even professional development, Brightwheel stands really on its own in terms of our offering, and we're just continuing to add more and more. So what you see here is new, better training and tracking. On the left, you see on the right, progress reports for parents that you can easily, literally with a click, be able to share with parents. So you don't have to spend time creating developmental reports when it comes time to parent check-ins, or if you just want to share them along the way. So a lot of investment happening here. And then on our last slide here, I believe it's one of our last slides. We're going to just continuing on admissions enrollment. And we heard earlier, again, this is one of the big needs I think that folks called out when I asked that question a while ago. We recognize how difficult it is to manage inquiries and tours and follow-ups and wait lists. Brightwheel is really, really powerful and just simplifying that entire workflow. And, we want to continue to invest here. So in addition to what we already have, you can see that we are making it just easier to capture information from prospective families. And we want to really move into, if you've heard of the term CRM, we want to move into just automating more and more of those admission stages and all the communication that happens when you're moving folks through the enrollment process. So this is underway, something that we're actively working on right now. With that, I think, are we going to wrap here for the most part?
Yes. Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate all that you went through. And we want to take a pause here and just say that if you're evaluating Brightwheel or using it today and you want to go a little bit deeper, this is a great next step. Our team can walk you through how Brightwheel supports daily operations and helps programs run more smoothly. We would love to show you how Brightwheel can simplify your operations and support your team in all the ways that matters most. So you can just either use the QR code here, or we'll provide a link in the chat too as well, so that you can schedule a quick call with one of our team members to get a personalized demo. So we're just gonna go ahead and just linger here for just a minute in case anybody wants to take a picture of that QR code and or access that link. So that way you can get all of your questions answered. And then we're gonna be moving into the Q&A portion. So also please feel free to start sharing your questions and we will definitely get to them.